we get there on the day of my colonoscopy. We got there on time, everything was good. Nurses asked me how everything was going. I said it was yellow. Yellow is, I guess everything is, the diarrhea is pretty much yellow at that point, because the trilite was flowing through my body and pretty much going in one end and out the other, and so yellow is the color of the bile, I guess. The bile is, maybe it's in the stomach, in the upper intestine or in the lower intestine, I don't know, but it's yellow, so it's pretty much all yellow. You know, and with the trilite, I would drink about a quart, and then it would go in one end and it would go out the other. Anyway, so I had an accident on the way over there. You know, just the fluid, the trilite fluid. You know, so had an accident in my pants, and then after we checked in at the nurse, then they took me back to the restroom over there, and I put on the gown, well, my wife helped me out, and you know, I changed actually, and then I transferred onto the toilet, and digital stimulation, wiped my bottom, and then after that, then I did the clean catheterization, and you know, with the surgery loop, and then after that, then I did digital stimulation again, just to make sure that I was hopefully as cleaned out as possible. There was still a little bit more, you know, but it was just liquid. It was just fluid that was just coming out there. It was just that yellow fluid, pretty much. So then after that, then then I got on I transferred from the toilet over at the colonoscopy office, back on my wheelchair, you know, with my gown on and stuff like that, and then from my wheelchair, then I transferred later on to their gurney that they had over there at the colonoscopy place, and then I turned over on my belly, just to kind of get the pressure off my bottom for a little while. You know, sometimes what that does though when I turn over is it kind of stimulates the diarrhea again, but luckily it didn't this time, so that was kind of cool. And then after that, then I turned over. Then I was probably turned over for maybe a few minutes or something like that, and then there was a lady that came, and she was there to put an IV in me. She had been putting in IVs for, well, so I think that was her, and she's been doing IVs for about 30 years. So she was pretty good at finding veins, and supposedly, and so anyway, they have to use the long needle. They can't use the little needle, which is the little needle that I'm talking about is a butterfly needle. Butterfly needle they can use to just draw blood, and it's not as bad, and it's a smaller needle. It's not as painful. But anyway, they had to use a big needle on me, because whenever they put the IV in, then they need, you know, then they need a good connection, I guess. So anyway, so she goes in my right arm. I don't know. Yeah, so she goes in my right elbow, right, you know, and she tries to put in she finds a pretty good vein. She thought it was pretty good. And I wanted to put a disclaimer here. I'm pretty much dehydrated, even though I have drank a ton of that Trilite stuff and gotten diarrhea a bunch of times. I'm totally dehydrated in my hands, and my skin is dry as a bone, and my skin is flaky and stuff like that because I'm pretty dehydrated. So anyway, that makes it very hard for them to find a vein whenever you're totally dehydrated. They have a really hard time finding a vein on me anyway. It doesn't matter if I'm dehydrated or not. So anyway, she sticks the big needle in me in my right elbow and tries to find a vein, and she's digging around in there, and after a while, then after she started digging around, and she said, "Oh, it's so close. I got it." And I said, no, because my veins, they move around, and it's like they're magical, they're tricky. They go one way, the vein or they see the needle coming at them, and then they run this other way, So anyway, it's very hard to find my veins or to poke my veins. So anyway, she's digging in there for, what seems like a half hour, but it probably wasn't that long. It probably was like 30 seconds or something like that she was digging around in my arm. And I told her, I said, "Hey, you're not going to give up. Okay, quit digging around in my arm, because every time she's moving that needle around and, inside my arm, then it drives me crazy. It hurts like mad, So anyway, I said, don't stop, don't do that anymore. Don't quit putting that needle in, quit digging around." So I told her that, and she said, of course, she just kept on doing it for a couple more hours, because she felt like she really had it, but my veins are very, very they're very tricky, and they say, "Ooh, come here," but really and you're gonna find me, but then they run away somewhere else. So, but anyway, so she finally tries again, but it doesn't work out, and I'm trying to be manly about it and be tough and stuff like that, but finally she takes that needle out and sticks a gauze pad on there with some tape, and says that she's going to get the anesthesiologist to go in there and find my vein. So anyway, he comes over, and I don't know how many years of training he's had, but right off the bat, he wants to go into my hand, and going into the hand hurts more than it does going into the arm, going into the elbow. But anyway, my elbows were my my elbow area was pretty fried. So anyway, he looks at my hand. He says, "Oh, I think we got a few good ones here that we might be able to get." But then what he does is he pulls out this little needle that is it's like it's a numbing thing. So anyway, they have it's kind of it's kind of silly, because what they have to do is they have to stick a needle in your hand to numb it up, and so that whenever they stick another needle in your hand and they start digging around, then it won't hurt so much. So that's kind of crazy. But anyway, he stuck a little needle in me. He says, just a little pinprick. So, so he pokes my hand, and he sticks the numbing stuff in there. And then after that, then he gets the big needle, and that in there, and that numbing stuff probably took effect probably in about 30 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. So anyway, then he stuck the big needle in there, and he starts digging around, and he can't get it, probably after a couple minutes of digging around, you can't get it. It doesn't feel so bad, because I can't feel it because it's numb, so it doesn't feel too bad. But then he couldn't find that vein with that needle to find the IV to get the IV in. So anyway, he takes that big needle out, and then he puts some gauze on there and puts some tape, and then a second spot on my hand. He says, "Oh, there's a pretty good vein over here." So he sticks the numbing needle in there, the little pinprick, and he numbs it up pretty good, and then rubs it around, and it probably takes a minute for the numbing stuff to take effect, and then he sticks the big needle in there and tries to find the vein, and he digs around again for probably a couple minutes, and it doesn't hurt too bad, and going in through the hand really hurts, I guess, well, compared to the arm. But anyway, he put the numb and stuff in there, and it didn't really hurt that bad at all. All I could feel was just movements a little bit around in my hand. That's all I could really feel. But anyway, he tries to find the vein with that needle, with that big needle, and he couldn't find it. And he's pretty good. He's an anesthesiologist. He's been doing this a few years. But he couldn't find my vein. So he puts another gauze pad on there, and then he puts the tape on there. So I got gauze pad on my elbow. I got gauze pad on my hand. I got another gauze pad on my hand. So then he goes into my left hand, and then he finds a vein that he thinks is pretty good. So he sticks me again with that numbing solution in my hand, so a little pinprick into my hand, and then we wait a minute, and then it numbs up my hand pretty good. And then he sticks in the big needle, to find the vein for the IV, and he finally finds oil, or finds blood actually in my hand, and so that needle is in a good spot, and then the IV is running pretty smoothly, and I put on my hands. I was so happy. I was just overjoyed. I was so happy that he had found a needle, I found the vein, and the IV was in there, and it was running good, and the numbing stuff helped, and it didn't hurt like mad, so I was really happy. So then he said, well, he said, so we're going to turn you onto your side, so that they can do this colonoscopy. I'm all laying on the gurney, and so we're going to turn you onto your side. So they turn me over onto my side, and when they turn me over onto my side, then the IV stops working too well. So I shouldn't have counted my chickens before they were hatched. But anyway, so he just moved that needle around a little bit, and it was cool because the numbing stuff was still in there, so it was still pretty numb. So he moved that needle around just a tiny bit, and they found the vein again, so that was cool. And then they were going to put the anesthetic in my body, through my IV, and whenever they did that, then he put this stuff, he ran this stuff into my IV, and it was just like fire. It was just like my hand was hit by a sledgehammer. It hurt so bad. I couldn't believe it. I mean, uh, they say that putting medicine in through the hand hurts more than putting medicine in through the elbow. So maybe it would have been less painful if he would have put that medicine in through my if he would have had an IV into my elbow instead of into my hand. But it hurt like mad. It was really bad. I almost felt like crying. It was bad for a minute, but then it started to dissipate. Felt like fire. I felt like my hand was on fire, and then it started to dissipate. And I told him, I said, hey man, that hurt like mad. That hurt crazy, And he's a big buff dude, very masculine dude. And he said, well, what's going to happen is, since that hurt like crazy, then that means that you're probably going to be knocked out. You're probably going to um, go to sleep and have really nice dreams. And I said, I don't dream that much. And he said, I don't really dream that much either. And then they were talking to me, and then a couple seconds passed, and I was out